Hey, I'm Chef Aaron Fish, and this is Fish Food, where we make tasty, approachable snacks. And today, we're making Za'Atar smoked chicken skewers. All right, so step one, we're gonna brine our chicken. Now I've got some boneless, skinless chicken thighs here. You can do skin on if you prefer. I kind of like the way that these cook up. If you want to use breast, that's totally cool as well. So we're gonna add our salt and sugar to our bowl. I've got equal parts salt and sugar. I got some Za'Atar we're gonna throw in here. And we're also gonna put some of this on the chicken when we get the skewers rolling. But I want to put some in here to kind of help it, get the flavors to really penetrate with the meat. So I'm gonna take some hot water. My tap water gets extremely hot. So I'm pretty fortunate. So I'm just gonna put a little in there and I'm gonna whisk it until it dissolves. You might need to add a little bit more. Sometimes if the salinity is too high, the salt won't dissolve all the way. And you'll be able to see that there's no more salt in there. It's pretty much just the spices. Great. So that also helped bloom the spices a little bit. And then now I'm gonna add some cold water to get this cool because we don't want to pour hot water on our chicken. Now I have one last ingredient we're gonna add. I'm gonna grab it out of my cupboard. I like to put a little bit of acid in my brine. Oh my gosh, if I could open this. So what happens when you buy brand new vinegar and then you're not prepared on shoot day? Give it a little shake because I buy the unfiltered. Oh my gosh. And just put a little bit in there, like a tablespoon. I'm gonna pour this over the chicken. We're gonna make sure to combine. Now, I made this a little bit more strong with the salt and sugar because I'm gonna let this sit out for like about an hour. And that's all you really need. If you want to do it overnight, we'll cut the sugar and salt by half. You can let it sit in the fridge, not walk-in. You guys don't have the patience. We'll let it sit in the fridge overnight, and then you can smoke it the next day. But in the interest of getting this done so we can eat it today, we're gonna smoke it today. All right, so our chicken's been brining for about an hour. I'm just gonna go ahead and strain it out in the sink here. Now, don't worry about rinsing this off. We don't need to get all the sugar and salt and spices off because we're gonna throw it in the smoker right now. So I like to put this on the top on my pellet grill because there's not as much heat up on the top, which sounds silly, but the plate down here heats up and gives a lot of bottom heat. I don't really want the chicken to get overcooked right now because I want the smoke to really penetrate and get in here so it can cook for 2-3 hours on the smoker instead of only maybe like an hour and a half and it's already at temperature. I'm a master 2-item juggler. I don't know, can you do this? No. Okay, so next step, we're gonna make some red pepper coulis. A coulis is like just kind of a pureed sauce, typically made from vegetables, but it can really be made of anything. So I'm gonna take these peppers. I've got some burners rolling back here. I have gas range. If you don't have that, you could totally just put your broiler on in the oven and roast them real hot, or you can do them on a grill outside. What we're looking for is we want to char the outside really good, cook the bell pepper by charring it, and then we're gonna peel it and blend it with some stuff. So I'm gonna throw it on here, get these working, and while these are working, we're also gonna start our asparagus tsunamono. These is called multitasking friends. Okay, so step one, get your asparagus, right? And I just use a peeler, and I'm just gonna keep peeling. And just flip it over, peel it again. And if you can, get all the way down there. Let's see. Be careful, don't cut your hand. And then you can still break this piece off, we're good to go. So we're gonna peel all this and roast those peppers, and we'll move on to the next step. All right, so our peppers are still roasting back there. I got all our asparagus peeled, so it's nice thin strips. And I'm gonna take the chimichurri here, and I'm just gonna sprinkle some on. And chimichurri has a pretty good salt content, so this is gonna actually work really well for us. What you would normally do when you're making a tsunamono is you would salt your vegetables and let it hang out. I'm gonna massage this in. The salt's gonna draw the moisture out and make it softer, a little more edible. So you don't have to cook the asparagus, you don't have to pour any like hot liquid all over it. You just need to let it sit here for maybe 20 minutes with the chimichurri on it, and then we're gonna add the rest of our brine ingredients. Hey, so our peppers are there. Look at that, nice and charred. That's what we're looking for. Like I missed a little piece there, and that's okay though. I mean, really, we just know that it's nice and charred. The pepper's cooked. Turn it off. You can do two different techniques here. We're just gonna let it sit for a second and then rub it. I've also done it before where you throw it in a container and put the lid on there and let the steam kind of finish cooking the pepper, but I don't want it too cooked because we're gonna blend this down into a sauce and I want some of that liquid in there, but and a little bit of the color to really shine through. All right, so we're gonna peel these peppers, get as much of this black stuff off as we can, and all you gotta do is this. This just comes right off. Now I like to put a piece of parchment down and work on it. You can use foil or just like a sheet pan or whatever. You know, you want to refrain from just rinsing it off because this, as much as this is burnt, it is flavor, and we do want a little bit of it. So do that. We're gonna do both of them, and then we're gonna seed it and pop it in this blender. All right, so we got them peeled. Next step is we're just gonna see if we can tear them open. Sometimes you can just rip the whole seed sack out, and so what I'm gonna do is just kind of cut into it. Now this is still really hot, so I'm just being really careful. And so I'm gonna just pull this right out. Yep, see? Nothing in there. Pop it in the blender, same thing. Now if you don't want to waste the pepper, because obviously like there's still like all this flesh here, we can pick it off and put it in there. So that's pretty, doable. That's hot. This one, not as lucky. Some seeds in there, so you gotta get in there and get them out. You don't really want those, they're gonna make it bitter. So, okay, let's push them off as you can. Get it in the blender. Rinse your hands. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit of honey in there. Just a smidge, just gonna give it a little sweetness. We're putting it in our honey garlic sriracha blend. Now, I recommend you taste these, decide how much you want to put in. The recipe will have a set amount. Just so, I think the flavor profile feels good with it, but some people don't like as much heat, and that's okay. So just a little bit of vinegar, just a tiny bit. We're just looking for that acid balance. So that's why we put the honey in there, put the vinegar in there. The pepper itself is going to be savory, and then the blend is going to add the extra flavors. So kick it on. All right, so we've got our sunamono done, we've got our red pepper coulis done, we've got our chicken smoking. Let's make some basmati rice, and we're gonna be doing that today with tandoori glory. I've got a pot heating up over there, made by Made In, and we're gonna put a little bit of oil in there, and we're gonna saute this rice, kind of like we're making a pilaf, if you've ever made a rice pilaf before. What this does is it really helps to separate the kernels, so you get this really beautiful, rice that's fluffy, not sticky, and just kind of, plates really nice, eats really nice. Basmati is a really forgiving rice. Put some oil in there. We're gonna sweat the rice down a little bit, stir it. I cook this over a medium heat and get the rice to turn a little bit light browned, and then we're gonna add a little bit of the tandoori glory in there, bloom the spice, and then we're gonna add our stock and some salt and taste and simmer and cook the rice. All right, check it out. So our rice grains are starting to get light brown. That's what we're looking for. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and add some tandoori glory to it. And we're gonna go big. Now remember, this is a salt-free blend, so we're gonna need to make sure we add some salt to the final product before we, finish, cover it and let it finish cooking. So I'm gonna just let this cook for a minute or two and let the heat help bloom all the spices that are in this blend, and it's gonna make it taste a little bit more delicious. Okay. All right, so we bloomed the spice a little bit. Gonna go ahead and add my liquid. Now we're gonna turn the heat up to high, and we're gonna add some salt. Now I just do a little bit at a time. This is the stock that I put in there. Is gonna be low sodium. And then what you want to do is taste it, because this is the best way to make sure that your rice is gonna taste super delicious. Is taste the liquid here before we finish it up, because now is the time to fix it. Well, that's good. I hit the right amount of salt. All right, so our sunamono's been sitting for about 20 minutes, and I just want to show you guys. I mean, look at this. Like, this is asparagus. Look at that. I can twirl it around my finger. It's, you know, tears. It's edible. It's perfect. So we're gonna add a little bit of sugar because I want the balance in this, right? A little bit of vinegar, just a smidge, because I'm gonna use some lime juice too, which is also gonna be the acid in here. All right. That's what you gotta say when you squeeze it. You gotta say, all right. Kind of like the Kool-Aid guy, but not. All right, so give it a stir. Work it in there, massage it. That's what we're looking for. And then we're gonna taste. Make sure it tastes good. Grab one of these pieces. Oh yeah. Exactly what I'm looking for. It's got the balance. We talked about salt contents there. This is gonna be really good with those chicken skewers. Alrighty, chicken's been smoking for a couple hours. You can see it's got a nice smoke on it. We're gonna pull it off. Oh yeah, this is looking great. So you really don't want this cooked all the way, because what we're gonna do is dice it up, skewer it, and then we're gonna crank this thing up real hot and get it a little color and char on it. All right, so chicken's off the smoker, and we're gonna start dicing it up now. Now you can cool this down and do this tomorrow. It doesn't really matter. In the sake of time, we're gonna just go ahead and do it now. So we're just looking for chunks. It doesn't have to be perfect, maybe a little bit smaller than that one. You can see it's not cooked all the way. That's perfect because we're gonna finish cooking it here in a minute. So, oh, it smells so good though, the smoke on this. And you can really smell the Za'Atar. All right, so I got some skewers soaking. I just have some 6-inch skewers, and I put them in a Ziploc bag with some water. Just kind of made it easy. You can soak these overnight. If you're gonna go any longer than that, just put them in the fridge so that you don't get anything weird growing on them. But ideally, you just want to soak them for about 30 minutes, not seconds. And what you were doing by soaking them is when we go throw them on the grill or high heat applications, the water's penetrated the wood. We don't have to worry about this blackening, catching on fire, falling apart. It's gonna help it stay nice and solid like a skewer. So we're just gonna go through the chicken. If you have any like really good, like this piece is kind of falling apart like that, like you'll wanna go through this way. Try not to stab your fingers. And if you have any like really fatty pieces, make sure that, you know, the skin, like maybe this one, is on the side if possible, so that when we're grilling, the skin kind of renders a little bit and it'll give you like a nice crispy chunk to eat. It'll be delicious. All right, so I got some chicken skewered, and you know, I got the Za'Atar here. I'm just gonna drizzle a little olive oil to see how high I can go up. Look at that, just dribbles. Okay, so we're just putting a little bit on there. We just wanna give it a little fat for when we go to grill it. And I'm just gonna spin it. Same thing, a little more on the top. So you don't have to worry about going a little bit too much on this. And ideally, we just wanna kind of get some of this Za'Atar to really give it, you know, that next level punch. I mean, yeah, we brined it in it, and some of it was on it while we were smoking, but now we're gonna get like that fresh toasted part on it. So not a lot, just enough. So my grill's about 425 degrees, and so I'm gonna do this pretty quick. What we talked about earlier was that we had our chicken on the second level to, you know, not get as much heat. But this time I want it on the bottom level because I want that heat. I want to get some caramelization on this chicken. So I'm gonna do this pretty quick so we don't lose a lot of heat. It's cold out here. I'm gonna close this guy up and come check it and see where we're at in about 5-10 minutes. All right, let's get these off. Perfect. So we've got a nice little bit of caramelization on there. These are looking great. All right, we got all our components ready. Our rice is good, our chicken's good, our sunamono's good. It's not real sunamono, but it's the technique, it counts. And our red pepper coulis good. So let's plate this guy up. So we're gonna try to make this look nice. Like we always look at how can we plate this, make it look like you're eating in an expensive restaurant. Really at home. So, making a mess. clean plated. Asparagus in there. Take our sauce. Do a couple dots. Skewer up in here. Cilantro we're gonna put on here. Now, if you don't like cilantro, you could actually put some fresh mint on this. Would be really good. Even some parsley. Really, you're just looking for that fresh, bright herb flavor. If you're not into herbs, then I don't even know what you're doing here. Okay. We're gonna finish it with a little bit of olive oil. A little on the rice, a little on the chicken. Just a little drizzle on the plate. All right, so let's get into it. I'm gonna grab one of these chicken skewers. It smells so good. The smoke, the Za'Atar, it's just really coming through. It's moist, seasoned well. Let's just grab some of this in here. We're just gonna go in it like this. You might have to actually sit here while I eat this whole thing. That bite was probably the best bite. Okay. Let's break it down, man. We've got the juiciness, savoriness of the chicken. You know, the curry rice, tandoori gory rice. And we've got, you know, the sunamono, the pickle, the sweet and sour, and the red pepper coulis with the, you know, the hot, you know, the honey garlic sriracha blend. It's, I mean, man. If I know better, I would say this is delicious fish food.